Guys, welcome back to episode number 5 of the LinkedIn Ad Makeover show. On today's episode, we are reviewing Care Time. Now, if you operate an agency that manages, different home cares and, kind of different care homes across, whether it's the US, I think these guys are just, I think, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure that they're just based for the US. They may they may also be based for the UK, but from what I've kind of seen on their website, I think this is just for the US and maybe Australia as well. Okay, but I'm not 100% sure. So if you guys are kind of, in that industry where you're managing, in the UK we call it care homes, but I think in America you guys call it home care businesses, then really, I would go and check these guys out because they've created a really, really robust software solution that is, just built, for these types of agencies and businesses. Okay, so without further ado, let's start reviewing this campaign and start going through this. So first of all, as always, what I'm going to do is read through this kind of ad and then kind of depict some things that I've kind of noticed, and then I'll go on to actually, kind of read through how I would actually rewrite this ad. Okay, so without further ado, let's get into this and start kind of talking through this ad. So, why didn't I know about this earlier? Care Time clients, and then the headline is revolutionary home care software turns struggling agencies into thriving agencies. Okay. So the first thing that I would say about this ad, looking at the left side first of all, is, don't dive straight into the testimonial, okay? If you're going to use testimonials in your ads, I think it's a great thing to do. Use it as a video. Don't use it as a piece of text. Okay, video, especially with testimonials, it's so much more powerful. And this goes for your website as well. Okay, if on your website right now you've got written testimonials, make sure that you actually go ahead and convert them into video testimonials. Now I know I have checked your guys' website and I've noticed that you have got some video testimonials. So instead of using like an ad where you're just writing out the testimonial, like actually make an ad where it's just someone actually on camera speaking about how great Care Time as a software is. Okay, because this ad could be so much more powerful if you actually had a video, of one of your clients speaking on camera where, the person, the audience that are watching this ad can really kind of, really deeply relate with, how they were struggling before and how this software's helped them and the ins and outs of, running a care home and the challenges. It really increases that kind of, trust and relatability. Okay. Another thing as well is, first kind of introduce the problem. Okay. Now, what I mean by that is, I think one of the best things that you can do, especially in a headline, but also the first piece of text in your main kind of, copy in the ad, is ask what I call the pain-provoking question. I've said it here as well, okay, in the headline. And basically what I mean by this is ask a question that really kind of, jabs at the problem of that, agency owner. Okay, so in this case, it could be, the fact that they're using really, really outdated, care home software that is just not built for today. It's not built for the new decade. Okay, so really try and press on that problem and kind of frame it in a question form. Okay, because number one, questions, they get people to say yes. It's what I call the yes effect. Okay, people read a question, and if it's a actual problem that they have, they're going to go yes, and they're going to keep reading it. Okay. If you just have like a piece of text and you start diving into testimonials, or even worse, start diving into all the features, people just switch off because you're just talking at them. Okay, it's like a therapist. If they just started talking at their clients and didn't actually listen to them and ask questions, they're just going to get angry and walk out. Okay, so you've really got to speak. I always say this, like when you're writing ad copy, really kind of write it like you're speaking to an annoyed friend. Okay, imagine you're a therapist, right? And you've got a client, they've got this really bad problem in their personal life, and you really want to kind of speak to them in a kind of gentle, like you understand their problems. You're not going to just go in there and start rambling on, about this and all these solutions. You're going to listen to them. Okay, so you've already got a right copy, not like you're speaking to a robot, but in a way that they can really relate with it. They can really, they understand that you get their problems. Okay, that's a big part of advertising. Okay, you can't just ramble on about all the features and dive straight into testimonials. Okay. The next thing as well, add more to the copy, and more importantly, add a clear CTA. Okay, I'm not really a fan. Like, I think there's always a place for short copy ads, but I think in this world, right, I think, actually using long form copy where, it's quite a big paragraph or it's quite a long ad, I actually think they work a lot better, okay? Because you can really kind of like, really dig into the pains. Whereas with, like short copy ads, it's very hard unless you're, a very kind of established brand to really kind of, poke at them pains. You can't really do that in like a one sentence ad. Okay, so long copy ads are like really really great when you're really trying to kind of dig into them pains and really kind of increase that trust and really show that audience, that that agency owner in this case, that you understand their problems deeply. Okay. Now the next thing is kind of going back to what I said there. Add a CTA. Okay, so add a very very kind of clear call to action at the end of your ad, not in the headline. Okay, headlines are not for download our free ebook. A big mistake that I see so many B2B companies advertising on LinkedIn doing is they add a CTA in their headline. Okay, and the reason why that's such a big mistake is because when someone is scrolling through their LinkedIn feed, okay, they if they just see download our free ebook, number one, they've got no idea what this free book is, what this free ebook is. But number two, like that's not going to get their attention, right? Because the amount of people shouting "download our free ebook" on LinkedIn is incredible. Download our white paper, watch our free webinar. No one really cares, right? So if you're going to include a CTA, do it at the end of the ad, but you've got to be really, really clear with the next step. Because if we look at this ad right now, there's no clear next step. Like, what do I do? What do I click? Like, where do I go from this ad? There's no actual call to action button. There's no text that says click here to watch our free webinar on how you can use our software to do XYZ. Okay, you need to have a very very clear next step with the software. Okay, or not with the software, with where you're directing people to kind of go to next. Okay, now that's pretty much everything. Again, I'm gonna kind of touch on that. Really try and, if you're gonna use testimonials, okay, really try and always use video ads, okay, because it's so much more powerful than just written text, okay, because people can really kind of relate with John the agency owner, or Sarah the agency owner, who has actually experienced the problems that they're experiencing. Okay, now as well, kind of looking at the image, these types of images, I call them like corporate-y type images. It's where it's either like one of these types of images where it's a laptop and a phone of your software, or it's like 5 people in the boardroom, or it's a classic stock photo of a businesswoman or businessman in a suit, or animated pictures. You want to try and if you're going to use images, make sure that it's either you as the founder like smiling, or maybe you as the founder with some of your clients in the background, like you're all together. If you're going to use images, it has to be an image that doesn't appear like it's one of these. Definitely avoid at all costs stock photos, because they just blend into really really blend into the background. But also avoid using these types of like animated SaaS like images, because they just don't convert that well. I can't, if I look at this ad, I don't go, oh wow, I can really relate with that laptop. I can really people like to see other human faces. They like to see real people, and especially if you can get a picture with, if you're going to use images, I really recommend video ads. But if you're going to use images, get a picture where it's you as the founder, or one of your team standing or sitting with one of your clients, or a few of your clients are kind of smiling, because when people can actually see real people in ads, and they can see that you've got actual real clients, and you're a real company, right, not just a stock photo, they can relate with it much more. Okay, so as always, what I'm going to do now is kind of read through how I've kind of rewrote this ad, and kind of explain why I've kind of wrote this ad in this way. Okay, so let's read through it. So first of all, looking at kind of the kind of main ad copy. So why most home care softwares hurt agencies more than they help them. Chances are, if you're reading this, you're a home care agency owner. And if you're anything like the agencies we work with, you know the struggle of using a home care software that was built for the early 2000s, not 2020. Care time allows you to say bye-bye to those outdated 90s features that, let's be honest, don't really even work anymore. Click the link here, obviously the link, and see why agency owners like, one of your clients are raving about us. Okay, and then the ad headline is your home care software is hurting you, not helping you. Okay. Now, the reason why I'll kind of explain the main ad copy framework first, and then I'll kind of go into the headline. The reason why, first of all, we start off with like I call it either the kind of pain-provoking question, or it's a headline that gets to the meat in the pie, right? And what I mean by that is it kind of jabs at the pain, right? Because chances are, if this is, and obviously I don't know your client's pains, I've not researched it, okay? You're going to know this much better than I do, but it's the framework here that matters, okay? But let's say, their problem right now and kind of the frame of this, the frame of this ad is that, right now, this agency owner is using an outdated software. Okay, so what we first of all do is we come up with a headline that really kind of jabs at that pain of having an outdated software that doesn't really help the agency owner. It kind of just hurts their business and it makes everything really slow and outdated. Okay, so first of all, we're calling out the pain, we're calling out the problem, which is going to get their attention. Okay, and then we're just kind of further kind of addressing who we're speaking to, because if someone who is not an agency owner is reading this, we don't want them to be reading this. So all we're really doing here is we're kind of just eliminating and kind of almost like filtering out, the people that we don't want to read this ad. A big problem that I see with so many B2B companies, especially on LinkedIn, is they're just so generic with their advertising. The worst thing that you can do on a platform like LinkedIn, where you can go so like myopically, focused and targeted with who you're trying to, go after and put your ads in front of, the worst thing you can do is just be generic with your advertising. Okay, like on LinkedIn right now, you can literally, if you've got a list of 100 companies that you're trying to get in front of, you can just target the CEOs or the CFOs or whoever in that company of all of them companies. Okay, so the worst thing that you can be doing on LinkedIn is making generic advertisements where you're just relying on algorithms and you're not doing any form of retargeting and you're just doing, Facebook mass market or, TV ad like mass market advertising. It's the worst thing that you can do, because you can just, especially with a platform like LinkedIn, other, ad networks as well, but especially LinkedIn, you can go so targeted. Okay. So, make sure that, targeting is everything on LinkedIn. Okay. If you get that wrong, you're going to have incredibly high, cost per acquisitions and, cost per leads. Everything is going to be just completely out of whack, and you need to have your targeting down. Okay. Now, again, reading on from this, so the kind of, third line down, what we're doing here is we're kind of just further touching on that problem. Okay. We're kind of just jabbing at that pain of, having a software that's so outdated, and we're doing the same thing here. We're just increasing that relatability. We're saying, and if you're anything like the agencies we work with, which is kind of that that kind of social building, that social trust. The person that's reading this ad now knows that you actually have real clients. Okay, and it's kind of it's what I call the kind of group theory. It's that group mentality that an agency owner is going to read this ad and be like, oh my god. Yes, there's other agencies are also struggling with this problem that I have. Okay, so it's that kind of herd group mentality. Okay, and then we're straight after we've said that, we're kind of further jabbing at that pain and at that problem. Okay, so by structuring your ads like that, where we're kind of getting the attention, we're kind of filtering out who we don't want to read this ad, and we're just saying, if you're a home care agency owner, this ad is for you. Okay. We're also kind of, initially kind of touching at that problem. We're also doing that in the ad headline. We're saying, this is your problem. It's hurting you. You're not sleeping because of it. It's a big problem. Okay. It has this thing where, they want to read more, because, the person that's reading this, the agency owner, they understand that you get their problems. Okay. They understand that, you're not just another company trying to sell them software. You actually understand the pain of having a really, really crap and outdated software. Okay. And then what we're doing here is we're kind of saying, again, another big problem that I see with so many B2B ads is they just, they ramble on about features and they just give it all away, right? They say, but they'll maybe touch on a few of the pains, and then they'll just ramble on for 5 paragraphs about but by using our software you can do XYZ, and you can have all these features, and you can have this and this and this and this and this, and it just gets so much, and they end up just kind of clicking off the ad, right? So you've got to touch on the pain, and I'd probably say that 80% of the ad needs to be focused on their problems, on their pains, just like a therapist, right? They're going to be asking lots of questions, really trying to dig into the pain, and really trying to get to the bottom of that page, or that client's patient's problem. They're not just rambling on about solutions and we can do this and this and this. They're asking questions. They're really getting into the pain. Okay, so 80% of your ad needs to be structured around the pain and the problems, and then 20% is okay. If you want to get back on the right track, then click here, and you can see how other agency owners and why other people in this industry are just loving what we do. So you're kind of, the way I look at it is you're getting them back on the right track. You're not giving away the whole pie. You're not saying we've got this feature and this feature because they just get bored when you say that. All you're saying is, look, we may have something that can, get rid of this for you. We may have the answer, but click here and you can find out for yourself. Okay, so it's like we're not giving away the whole pie. We're not just chatting on, rambling on about loads of features. We're just saying, look, we know you have this problem. We know how painful it is. So if you want, it's up to you. Okay, we're kind of putting the ball in their court. Okay, click this link and you can find out why other agency owners are using us. Okay, so guys, I hope you've really, really enjoyed this episode, and I will see you guys tomorrow for episode number 6 of the LinkedIn Ad Makeover Show. See ya.